Parallelogram law of vectors. So we have triangle law of vectors, parallelogram law of vectors. So it's okay to understand very nicely one of them. Parallelogram law of vectors means we depend on a parallelogram. If I have vectors u and v, and then using the triangle law of vectors, this is u, therefore the other side will be u. So what we are saying is u plus v. This is the initial head and then another vector here. So the resultant here will be from here to this, which is the triangle law of vectors. So if I make a parallelogram here, the diagonal of this parallelogram will be the resultant. So this vector here will be u plus v. This will be u plus v. This is u plus v, so u plus v, it was a triangle before and then it became parallelogram here. So the resultant will be u plus v. To find the resultant, always we use the cosine law. So let's say if I want to find this diagonal, what's this diagonal here? So if I say u minus v, if I have this vector here, and then I have this vector here, this is u, then I want to find this vector. So if this is v, let's say this vector is x, my unknown. So if I start from initial here, v plus x, because it should go always from tip to tail here, this way, and then this way, and then the resultant will be u. Therefore, if I want to solve for x, x equal to u minus v. That's why this vector here is u minus v. So a diagonal, this diagonal is u plus v, and this diagonal is u minus v. Okay, so let's say an example here. If I have, and another important thing is when we say angle between two vectors, it is tail to tail. Initial must be the same tail they must have. So this is an angle between the two vectors. Let's say this is 60 degrees. 60 degrees angle between the two vectors u and v. Okay, let's say the magnitude of u is 20, let's say centimeters. The magnitude of v is 40 centimeters. When we draw the vectors, they must not be exactly, but at least the scale, this should look like double of this in length. So I have now the vectors u, the angle between them is 60 degrees. So I have this vector, which is vector u, which is 60 degrees, and this vector is almost a double of u, which is vector v. This angle is 60 degrees. So we'd like to find the resultant and its direction. Resultant and its direction. So the resultant of this vector u plus v, this is u plus v is the same as v plus u. This is called commutative property. U plus v is the same as v plus u. Therefore we say the resultant of v plus u will be this vector here. This is vector u plus v. Okay, so now this line, this vector does not divide this angle into two equal parts because u and v are not equal. So this is not 30 degrees, this is not 30 degrees. So the first thing we should say is we have to find this vector here, the magnitude of u plus v. To find the magnitude of u plus v, we use always a cosine law. To use cosine law, we have to find this angle here, because my unknown is this. I know absolute value of v, I know absolute value of u, I know this angle here. This angle will be 180 minus 60 because of property of parallelogram. This is 120 degrees. Therefore, we say u plus v square. Cosine law, remember cosine law is u square plus v square minus 2 magnitude of u, magnitude of v, cosine of angle 120 degrees. Cosine of 120 degrees. So u plus v square. So now we know the magnitude of u is 20. So 20 square is 400. 40 square is 1600. Minus the magnitude of that is 2 times 20 times 40. Cosine of 120 is minus 1 over 2. Therefore, if I do these calculations here, we'll get 2800. So the magnitude of u plus v will be the square root of that, will be 52.9. So we calculated that now. Now we need the direction of this resultant. To find the direction, I have to find either this angle here or the other side, which is this angle here. So to find the direction, always we use the sine law, because we have sine of theta over the magnitude of u. The magnitude of u is 20 equals, this is 120, sine of 120 over the magnitude of u plus v, which is 52.9. So sine theta will be 20 times sine of 120 degrees divided by 52.9. Then we find angle theta will be 19 degrees. So the direction of this will be, magnitude is 52.9, so my final answer will be 52.9 centimeters, 19 degrees counterclockwise from vector v. From vector v. From v counterclockwise, if I go this way, I get 19 degrees. Okay, so let's do one more example of this. So before that, let's see what unit vectors mean. A unit vector is, the magnitude is 1. Magnitude is equal to 1. So if I have two unit vectors, angle between them is 48 degrees. Find the magnitude A minus 2B. So we have two unit vectors. The two unit vectors are A and B. Find the magnitude of A minus 2B. To do this, first we say, how is A? A is unit vector, which is unit vector, the magnitude is 1, and B, the same distance, we have b. Then we have a minus 2b. Minus 2b means twice b but the opposite direction. So twice b but the opposite direction. This is minus 2b. I have a here, therefore I form my parallelogram here. So my vector will be minus 2b plus a. This is my a. A is here, this vector. So minus 2b plus a, or a minus 2b. So these two vectors we have seen before. If I have these two vectors, the resultant will be this way here. This is my resultant, which is a minus 2b. So I have to find this. The magnitude of that. To use this is 48 degrees. We know that. The two vectors 48 degrees. If this is 48 degrees, this angle is 48, therefore this angle will be 48 degrees. So I will use this angle to find the resultant of a minus 2b. So a minus 2b will be equal to the magnitude of a square plus the magnitude of minus 2b square minus 2a minus 2b cos 48 degrees. So this will be magnitude of a square. It's a unit vector, therefore it will be 1 square plus minus 2b. Whenever it's magnitude, the negative is gone. So 2 square will be 4. 4 times 1 minus 2. This is a. The magnitude of a is 1. This is the magnitude of minus 2b is 2. Then cosine 48. Cos 48. So all these calculations will give me 7.56. Therefore, the magnitude of a minus 2b will be the square root of that, 7.56, which will be 2.75. So to make it very clear, two unit vectors, the angle between them is 48. That means this is a and b. If I'm finding always a minus 2b is opposite of b, therefore I go the other side. Usually whenever I have minus 2b minus whatever vector, the angle which I calculate will be stays the same. If it was straightforward like before, we use 180 minus whatever angle we have.